Before I was scouted out to work at Dearth Mercy Hospital, I was a regular nurse at a regular hospital. I saw the everyday horrors, the injuries from stupidity or accidents, abuse and natural illnesses. Some of those things I would see and think, my God, how is this person alive? Or, it's only a matter of time for them. And it sucked. It sucked getting to know my patients, talking to them, learning about who they were, and how whatever brought them to the hospital happened. Some patients I only saw while treating them, and some stayed in the hospital for days. I didn't exactly follow up with them, because I did see a lot of patients. But if I heard their name or something, I would ask about them. Nurses develop that sort of bond, the one where we hope they never come back, or if they do, that it's something very small that we can handle easily for them. This all is triplefold at Dearth Mercy, where the things that brought our patients in are anything from cosmic horrors to nail-eating fungi. That one was disgusting. A couple came in after their honeymoon. By the time the black ambulance brought them in, they had already lost most of their toenails and some fingernails to this grey and green-looking mold thing. It was furry and smelled, but no matter what kind of generic treatment we gave it, the fungi just continued to eat their nails and spread from one finger to the other. I'm not sure what would have happened if left untreated. But the first thing we did was determine if it was contagious. The lip-splitting man fiasco apparently was worse than I had thought that day. That first patient had infected the black ambulance drivers, as well as 2 nurses at the regular hospital they had been taken to before us. We were able to treat our drivers as they returned to us at the first signs of the infection. But of the 2 nurses at the regular hospital that were affected, we only got to one of them in time. The other was found dead. So, the new protocol was an ingenious method developed by Dr. Logos. He was the doctor on hand during the lip splitting, and it was he that saved Archie, Chung, and the patient by rapid use of the white cloth material. So now, that's the material our scrubs are made of. I don't know the logistics of it, but should we come into contact with anything contagious in any way, the very material on our scrubs will not only change colors depending on the severity of the contamination, but it will also become wet by chemical reaction and begin treating us immediately. Truly remarkable. If I knew anyone at the R&D department, I would go down there and shake their hand. This new safety measure ensures that we can keep safe without having to fully cover ourselves in hazmat suits for every patient. I asked the obvious thing to one of my co-workers, Shaylin. Why is this just now being developed? What did you do in the past for safety? For our safety? We didn't treat the patient most of the time, is what she told me, and I could tell by the look on her face that she was the same as me. We both hated and respected the cardinal rule of Dearth Mercy Hospital. Patient care comes second, self-preservation comes first. Anyways, the fungus was a living organism that spread nail to nail on the host. Thankfully, it was not contagious outside of the main host. When we went through the list of possible causes and found nothing, we had to ask them for a step-by-step of their honeymoon. That was interesting. These newlyweds went for a nighttime stroll through a graveyard near their bed and breakfast. Not all that weird in this line of work. The husband, however, heard something in one of the fresh graves, calling from underground, so he rushed to it and began digging with his hands. The wife joined in, clawing away at the fresh dirt covering the grave. The dirt obviously got under their nails, and by the time they had realized the screaming had stopped, they noticed their fingertips were bleeding and painful. They went to the hospital, a hospital not equipped to deal with this. The nails were cleaned and wrapped and handled as best they could, but in the end they needed to take a ride in a black ambulance to us. Grave dirt apparently usually contains the mold that feeds on the nails of the deceased. Since nails continue to grow when really the body dehydrates, and the nails just appear to look longer. But either way, the mole takes advantage of this and begins to consume the nails. It runs rampant in most graveyards, so please, don't go digging any graves up by hand. Or at all. The odd part of it all was what had screamed for them in that casket. These patients were really nice people that didn't deserve what happened to them. This whole story comes full circle to the fact that they were good people. They were nice and kind, and I hope to never see them again. And so far, I haven't. But if I did, I would recognize them and talk to them, because they were my patients. Dollface was not my patient at the time. Not like she wanted to be. The first time she came in was when Dr. Mathos had to cut the doll face off her with silver scissors. I remember seeing that plastic and rubber face scream and scream until the last stitch was cut. Then it fell silent, inanimate, lifeless. The second time she came in was the end of my shift, when the lip splitting happened. Since I was on my way out, I didn't have a chance to see her or talk to her. The third time was about 3 weeks after that. I was wrapping up my rotation with the emergency intake treatment. The system for new employee nurses is that we work 3 weeks on in each department in no particular order. After the end of the full rotation, we can choose to continue rotating, or we can set ourselves in a certain department. Jones, for example, the guy that started the same day I did. He's not a nurse, he's an administrator, so he was put in a department directly. No rotations. Remember, anyone can be scouted to work at Dearth Mercy. We have everything your normal hospital has. So, if you really want to work here, you just have to do so well at your job that one of ours notices you. From doctors and nurses to custodians, meal servers, electricians, maintenance, we have it all. So I'm finishing my rotation with treatment. I have a firm grasp on how to do everything. And how to call codes, when to ask for help, and when to pull doctors in if something is beyond me, which it was. When I got to her room, she was dancing. No music or anything. Just her in a black dress, spinning slowly, one hand up in the air and her other hand touching her wrist, then slowly sliding down all the way to her shoulder. She danced for a minute or two longer, then noticed me. "Oh," said the doll's face and the mousy voice underneath at the same time. The girl stepped back and turned away. Then her hand shot up as if pulled on strings, like some invisible puppet master was above her. She pointed at me while looking away. "There he is. We were looking for you. Weren't we?" she sung, dragging out the word, "we." "No, I wasn't," whispered a voice underneath the mask. "Oh, you're so boring. You want him," snapped the doll's face in her high-pitched girlish voice. I cleared my throat. "Lena, is it?" She nodded, but the mask spoke. "Ooh, that's us. The mask is different. You're not the same as the first time I saw you," I said to her. The girl looked up, or at least her head made the looking up motion. It's hard to tell through the mask that spoke. Of course it's not the same. You people cut us off, so we had to get a new face. Do you like it? She traced the edges of the mask, edges that were sewn directly into flesh. Then the eyes narrowed, and the mouth became thin. I said, "Do you like it?" she barked. "Leave him alone. I'm sorry," the voice underneath said. I held up my hands. "It's all right. I'm here to figure out if this is going to keep happening. Can you tell me a little about what's going on?" The doll's eyes rolled, and she twirled and curtsied, then did a small ballet bounce. I don't know what they're called. "She's insecure, she's weak, she's ugly, she's fat," cooed the mask. And I... The dollface smiled and slipped a finger underneath the shoulder of her dress. She teased the lowering of it. "I am beautiful, don't you think? Would you like to see more of me? I didn't respond at first. They don't exactly teach us how to handle split personality, defined by a speaking mask. But something did stick out to me when she raised and lowered the shoulder of the black dress. More of you? I echoed. At this, the Dollface lit up, and she twirled closer to me. Would you like to see more? She asked quickly. I shook my head. But that's not you. What you want to show me, that's Lena's body, not yours. The girl stopped moving. My body, said Lena underneath. The doll's eyes darted left and right nervously. My body, howled the mask. Lena reached up to the mask and touched one of the stitches. Her arm shot to the side like it was yanked on strings. The sudden force caused her to lose balance and stagger to the side. Don't touch me, screamed the mask. Lena reached up again, and again her arm was yanked away by an invisible force, officially making me realize that I had no idea how to handle this. I stood up and opened the door, peeked outside, and saw another nurse walking by. I grabbed his shoulder. Can you get a doctor in here? I asked him. He nodded and looked inside. Yeah, why? What's going on? How can I say I'm in over my head? How can I say I don't know how to talk to two patients occupying one space? Do I treat Lena to get rid of the doll's face? Or do I convince the doll's face to leave its host? What do I do when one is attacking the other? Luckily for me, not so much for Lena, I didn't have to say anything to the other nurse, because Lena/Dollface pushed past me and let themselves out into the hall. She danced and twirled and bounced down the hallway, singing loudly, "This is mine, mine, mine all the time." The nurse beside me opened his eyes wide and went down the hall. He opened a door and leaned in. I hoped to talk to someone that could help me. "Lena," I called out, as she moved gracefully through the thin crowd that made up the main floor of Dearth Mercy. Dollface twirled and cocked her head to the side. "She's not here," she said simply, then started dancing around the large room again, dodging around nurses and patients. One of the doors opened, and an older female doctor stepped out, closing the door behind her. This was the room my fellow nurse had gone to. "What's going on out here?" she asked quickly, her voice sharp and steady. Dollface danced further away. "I'm sorry, Doctor, she's mine," I said, realizing I didn't know the doctor's name. She noticed this and rolled her eyes. "Learn to control your patients, Alec, or we'll get someone that can," she snapped. Clearly she knew me. The doctor brushed past me and went to Dollface. "Ma'am, I need you to stop," she said calmly, controlling her tone like a conductor leads a symphony. "Ma'am? That sounds old." "We're not old," Dollface said with a wicked smile. A smile that looked like it came from someone holding a knife, which thankfully she wasn't. But it did give me that eerie feeling. "Lena Woodson, age 24, self-mutilation through the attachment of a doll's face, severe dissociative disorder," the doctor said calmly. "Lena, I think you should have been admitted the last time you were here. I was coming to see you next." Lena stopped dancing. "Admitted? To where?" she asked from under the mask. The doctor stepped forwards, along with two large security guards that seemingly came out of nowhere. "Admitted to the psych ward, where we can treat you at the source, and not just cut the mask off you again." Her hands went to her mask, a mask that smiled and looked up at the ceiling, fainting innocence. "Do you love it?" the mask asked. I could only imagine how Lena felt underneath. The two guards gently grabbed onto Lena's shoulders. She looked at each of their hands and dropped her head. The mask lifted it back up. "Big, strong men, do you like my face?" she asked, turning her head side to side. Then she attempted to free herself by darting forwards. The guards held her firmly, which caused her to squirm and pick her feet up off the ground. Let me go! Don't touch me! She screamed. The doctor stepped back as the guards took Lena to the elevator. All while Dollface fought and howled. I heard her screams until the elevator was no longer on the floor. I turned to the doctor. At first I didn't really know what to say. I felt like all of my skills and experience as a nurse before coming to this hospital were a waste, when everything I knew was for helping normal people with normal things. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't stop her. I apologized. The doctor looked at me with tired eyes. They don't teach you how to handle everything, because everything changes all the time. You can't prepare for stuff like this until you see it, she said firmly. Have you seen this a lot? The whole Dollface thing? I asked. She shrugged. Unfortunately, it's more often another person's face. Then we must treat them as a problem more than as a victim. With Lena, we will be able to treat her properly. How? I asked. You haven't done your psych ward rotation yet, she said. Not a question. No, ma'am, I replied. She looked at me. Things are different in psych. The treatment, the patients. Do you think what you've seen down here is bad? This is a cakewalk. She noticed my hesitation at responding and leaned in closer to me. You're new here. You're still surprised by what comes through the doors. Psych is different. A girl with a doll's face sewn on her own is nothing. In psych, we treat victims of horrors you don't have the imagination for. Gods, devils, shadows. She huffed a laugh. I've been treating a patient since 1966 who saw the Mothman once, and every day he asks me to kill him. Every day for 55 years, she said, her eyes permanently veined and red from age. And I treat patients that were once doing the same rotation you are now. I still didn't say anything. What on earth could I say? She nodded at me. Smart enough to be quiet at least. I'll see you in a few days, Alec. And with that, she left me, standing alone on the main floor as it returned to business as usual. Nurses saw to their patients. Paperwork was completed. Doctors mended what they could. I looked around, taking it all in, looking at the faces of the employees of Dearth Mercy Hospital, looking at the faces of patients, bloodied, beaten, deformed, eaten, tear-streaked, all of them victims of horrors.